Hello, my dear children. Welcome to the home mentoring session of English. Today we are going to do the poem An Elementary School Classroom in a Slum by Stephen Spender. Let's read something about the poet. Sir Stephen Harold Spender was born on February 28, 1909 in London. He attended Oxford University and fought in the Spanish Civil War. In the 1920s and 1930s, he associated with other poets and socialists such as W. H. Auden, Christopher Isherwood, Louise Macneice, and C. D. Lewis, and his early poetry was often inspired by social protests. During World War II, Spender worked for the London Fire Service. He co-founded Horizon magazine with Cyril Connolly and served as its editor from 1939 to 1941. He was editor of Encounter magazine from 1953 to 1966. He was a professor of English at University College London, and he gave frequent lecture tours in the United States. He was knighted. Knighted means he was given with this title, honored with the title of Sir in 1983, and he died on July 16, 1995. Coming to the text of the poem, the first stanza goes like this. Far, far from gusty waves, these children's faces, like rootless weeds, the hair torn round their pallor, the tall girl with her weighed-down head, the paper-seeming boy with rat's eyes, the stunted, unlucky heir of twisted bones, reciting a father's gnarled disease, his lesson from his desk. At back of the dim class, one unnoted, sweet and young, his eyes live in a dream of squirrel's game in tree room other than this. As the name of the poem tells us, it's about an elementary school that provides basic education, primary education, to children who live in slum. The school is situated in a slum area, and the poet has described the slum children, the slum classroom of the school, and their lives. Far, far from gusty waves. Far away from the gusty waves. Gusty waves are breezy winds. Far, far. The use of the poetic device. Repetition. Far, far from gusty waves, these children's faces. The poet here wants to say that if you look at the faces of these children who are sitting in this elementary school classroom, they seem to be very far away from the gusty waves of life, the modern, fast-paced, fast life of cities. Like rootless weeds, rootless, unwanted, without any foundation. Weeds, plants that are not wanted. Just like these unwanted plants, these children are also unwanted. The hair torn round their pallor. Their hair are torn around their pale faces, just like rootless weeds. The tall girl with her weighed-down head. There is a tall girl sitting in the class. In this stanza, the poet is talking about the children sitting in the class. Number one is the tall girl with her weighed-down head. Maybe she is ashamed because of her age, she is elder to the others, or maybe it's the burden of poverty on her. The paper-seeming boy with rat's eyes. The literary device of metaphor. He's a paper-seeming boy, as thin as a paper, with rat's eyes. Rat's eyes, that as rat's eyes are searching for something, he also wants to search something, to find something for himself. The stunted. Stunted is, that is not fully grown due to malnutrition. The stunted, unlucky heir of twisted bones. And there is a boy whose growth has been stopped due to malnutrition, and unluckily he has inherited a disease of twisted bones from his father. And when he reads his lesson, recites his lesson from his desk, The focus of people is not his lesson, but his father's disease that he has inherited, the gnarled disease. Gnarled disease, when the bones start developing knots. At the back of that dim class, there is one unnoted, sweet and young. His eyes live in a dream of squirrel's game in tree room. Other than this, there is one more boy who is very young, and he is sitting at the back of that ill-lit class. He is unnoted by anyone. He is sweet and young. He is not in the class mentally, though he is sitting in the class physically, but he is more engrossed in the squirrel's game. His eyes are lost in a dream of the squirrel's game, and he is busy looking outside, enjoying himself in the tree room where the squirrel is playing its game, other than the room where he is sitting. The poet describes the children who study in an elementary school which is set up in a slum area. The poet says that the faces of children are dull and without any energy. They're not full of energy like other kids of the age. These children are compared to unwanted weed. Here the writer wants to say that these children seem to be unwanted, like the unwanted weeds which grow on their own in the fields. Their hair is not neatly done. It falls on their pale faces as if they have been torn apart. The children are untidy. They haven't combed their hair. Then he describes a tall girl who seems to be burdened by poverty. Her head is bent, maybe because of tiredness or shame. There is another boy who is so weak and thin that he has been compared to a sheet of paper. The boy's eyes reflect greed, and he wants to achieve everything. Then he describes another student who is physically disabled. The poet says that this boy is unlucky because he has inherited a disease from his father, due to which he has a deformed body. Instead of getting any facility from his father, he has received a disease in heritage. This disabled boy is sitting on his bench and is reciting his lesson. At the back of the class, in dim, dark area, was a small boy who was not visible to the poet, as he was sitting in darkness. The poet could see his eyes, which were bright and full of a dream. He was not paying attention to the class. It seemed as if he was rather interested in playing with squirrels in the tree house.